Bangladesh prepares for its first election since the overthrow of the government of Sheikh Hasina in August 2024. She is in exile in India. The former leader has been sentenced to 10 years in absentia, along with her niece Tulip Siddique, for their alleged corrupt role in a township project. But there are still those who predict a comeback for the controversial former leader. It was, of course, the angry youth of Bangladesh that brought about change in August 2024. Their protests forcing Sheikh Hasina out of power, into exile. Has the change that young people demanded started to emerge? August Hackinson with this report.
Bangladesh's 13th national election carries particular significance. It marks the first time in more than 15 years that many citizens say they're eager to return to the polls.
This election is important because we are going through a transitory period. We are shifting from a revolution to a stable situation. So to bring stability, we need an elected government.
It's been 18 months since student protests spiraled into a nationwide uprising. After a brutal crackdown, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government fell, ending 15 years in power. Now, many of those Gen Z protesters will be able to vote for the first time in an election seen as credible. And political parties are eager for their support. Young voters make up a large share of the electorate. While many approach the election with hope, others remain skeptical.
All the political parties have proposed many reforms and many ideas. We all appreciate that, but we want to see groundworks.
The uprising has turned fruitful for a handful of people only, despite the fact that its essence was to retrieve our democratic demands and traditions.
For many young people, jobs remained a top priority as Bangladesh struggles with high unemployment. Others are calling for accountability and an end to corruption. With Sheikh Hasina's party barred from contesting, the political landscape has opened up to new contenders. Her longtime rival, former Prime Minister Khalida Zia, died last year. Zia's party, though, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, is leading in opinion polls.
August Hackinson with that roundup. Let's get a deeper perspective regarding Bangladesh's election. It's taking place on February the 12th. We're joined by Asif Bin Ali, a geopolitical analyst at Georgia State University. Asif, thank you so much for joining us here on France 24. We appreciate your time. And I'm interested to hear your take on the current situation. If I was to say to you, who will win the election, could you give me a name right now?
Thank you, Marco, for inviting me to your show. Based on the kind of surveys we are seeing, it is likely that BNP is going to win the election. But of course, the winning would not be very easy. I think there would be a serious fight between BNP and Jamaat Islami. And so my take is most probably BNP is going to make the win, but Jamaat will get significant number of seats in the upcoming parliament.
Do you think that the young people, certainly the voices we're hearing in our report, those young people, they seem to be fed up with the traditional parties? Do you think they are seeing the kind of change that they want to see happen in their country?
See, right now the election is happening not only over the issue of reform, but also over the issue of stability. So Bangladesh is going through serious security threats, especially the law and order situation is not under control yet. And there are, different forms of violence across the society. Economy is also struggling. So considering all those points, now a larger section of the society is also looking for stability and elected democratic government taking over the country and providing those. At the same time, there is also demand for reforms among the younger and also the youth section of the society. They don't want to see Bangladesh walking back towards the previous structure where the division of power was not as structured as it's supposed to be in any modern state. So, of course, there is the competition between these two wish. But given the situation, what matters is, and for traditionally speaking, for Bangladesh, it always wanted stability and security. So definitely, if any political party who would be providing both a certain amount of stability and security. At the same time, some promised reforms is likely to meet some of the expectations. But also, I am aware that our society is also facing a certain kind of populism, and the populist politics is taking over many of the social spaces. So satisfaction may not come as we expect very soon.
Do you have a sense, though, that if these changes can be made, if stability is established, if there is an end to corruption, and that is not something that happens overnight, the jobs market might improve. The opportunities might be there for the young people who were so angry that they took to the streets to get rid of Sheikh Hasina?
I think whoever comes in the next government, they have to provide, because Bangladesh political environment has changed after the 15 years of Awami League government, and out of which the 10 years was pretty much autocratic. Now people are demanding something more. So you see, they are seeing this amazing world and the facilities of the West in their mobile phone, but when they come out of their home, they see not a good street, they don't get like good quality food and those kind of things. So there is this imbalance between what they see in the media and what they experience in the day-to-day life. And that imbalance to some extent cause a good amount of dissatisfaction among the larger section of the society. Now, considering that, of course, the future government needs to work on to reduce corruption. Now, Bangladesh is a society, reducing corruption is often become a promise. Even when this government came, the interim government came after the departure of Sheikh Hasina, this government also promised that they would reduce the corruption, but we haven't seen much effort of doing so. So in Bangladesh, reducing corruption is more of a political slogan than of a delivery. And I think whoever comes in the future government, they need to deliver it. And if they could do that, that may help to ensure more equitable distribution of the wealth that the society is generating for last couple of decades. And that may help significantly improve the quality of the people's life. But right now, if, for example, I do keep contact with the local journalists and the people who are working there, what I have seen is that people want job, people want better life, people want better healthcare. And these are the things that they want. But at the same time, people are also, many people are also encouraged by populist rhetoric. So it's very difficult to see which one they will prioritize over the time. Service over emotion. Now, that is something that we have to wait for some time to see.
And briefly, Asif, Sheikh Hasina, some people talking about a comeback. The report pointed out that that's not going to happen this time. But is that still a possibility, you think, or is she spent now as a political force?
I think it's also like Sheikh Hasina's son, Mr. Shajib Wajed Joy, while speaking to Al Jazeera, interview said Sheikh Hasina has, in a way, it's a retirement for her. It's a forced retirement, of course, and I don't think she would be able to return in the politics. However, Awami League will return in politics, given that the party has significant support among the population. And at least over the, all the acceptable elections, if we look at in the last 54 years of the Bangladesh history, we will see that this party has secured around 35 to 40% of seats. It has formed the government, it has win over elections, and still now there are a good number of supporters in Bangladesh for Awami League. So Awami League as a party will return eventually in politics. However, Sheikh Hasina, it's very unlikely that she will return in politics. Maybe she need to hand over her leadership to someone, might be from her family or someone from the party. That the future would be a deciding factor. But I don't think Ms. Hasina would be able to return to the politics in the way that she used to be.
The election set for February the 12th. Asif Bin Ali, thank you so much for your analysis. Do keep a date in your diary for 7 days' time. I hope we'll speak again regarding developments on voting day. Asif Bin Ali, geopolitical analyst at Georgia State University there, speaking about the political situation in Bangladesh a week ahead of the election.